Here are a couple of pieces I've been working on this week. The one on the left is still not quite complete, but you can see some of the different colorgraph techniques I've added into this, along with ink. Over here, more ink and acrylic. And as I scan in here a little bit more, here's some more Prismacolor and some of the fading techniques you will often see in my clips. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're back with some more mixed media abstraction. All your comments on my channel has let me know that this is really what most of you are tuning in to see. So I'm going to get right to it. I'm going to start with this piece of paper. Some of this ink bled on here, and I'm just going to go with that bleed. And I'm going to start off by adding some walnut ink to the 12 by 18 sheet here we see. I'm also going to do some kind of blending with this top of this coffee cup container, and that round object kind of gives me some interesting marks. I'm also going to put down some ink here. I'm just going to drop that in, and we'll see what comes of this. I'm also going to bring in some red, and I'm going to let some of that red bleed into the walnut. And at this point, like I've said in so many of my clips, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going with this, but I'm just having a good time dropping ink and seeing what happens with the bleeds. Here I'll take my trusty plastic bottle and kind of pull that ink around the page, maybe even in a twisting pattern, a rounded shape, and we'll see what we come up with here. The white ink, it kind of paled just a bit, so I'm going to bring some more walnut ink on top, and I'm going to sprinkle that in. And I'm going to go ahead and take the rubbing alcohol, which you've seen before that I've used, and I'm going to drop some of that in. And you can see pretty quickly the little shapes that emerge, the little circles emerge with the rubbing alcohol when applied with the paintbrush. I'm going to go ahead and take my spray bottle. I'm going to spray some of this, and that will kind of make the bleed even more pronounced. And now I'm going to do something I did with the paper that I just painted on. I'm going to put another white piece over top. I'm going to put it on top, up top here, and kind of smear it down, press it down. And this is going to leave an impression not only on the one below it, but also the one on top, which I may use later for something else. But once again, I'm just trying to take the marks, revise them, bring them back in, revise them. So this clip today is about revision, a lot of it, and that's the reason I entitled it with using the word revise in it, is just to show what you can do to experiment, but also find different options as you move forward. Next here, I'm going to take some toilet paper, and I just took it off the roll. I'm going to put it on top of this painting. It's dried since we last worked on it. And now I'm going to bring some more walnut ink in, and I'm going to let that dribble out onto the toilet paper. And I'm going to let that soak in a little bit. And you can probably predict that it's going to leave an impression after I pull it up, which is exactly what will happen. But it's just another way of bringing in a different mark, which I'm always obsessed with. I'm always looking for different materials to use along with my traditional art supplies, and I'm sure a lot of you out there have also hopefully tried different experiments. If you find one that's been really interesting to you, drop it in the comments, and I'm always looking to learn different ones myself. I like to add the ones that are new to the ones that are old that I've used, and a lot of times that mix is really a fantastic thing. Okay, I let that dry a bit. It's still a little wet, but I'm going to go ahead and pull this off, and you can see some of the marks that it made, just little stains within the painting that I made to begin with. And I'm also a big seeker of stains as well as mark making. So it's not quite the dramatic mark that I'm usually showing you here, but the stain is also very interesting in the way it dries to the surface. Okay, I'm going to go in this a little closer, and you can see some of the little marks that have been left behind. And here I'm going to draw into this as well. This is a water-soluble pastel. You've seen me do this before in previous clips. And I'm just going to do some soft sketching without too much idea of which direction I'm going to go with this. Okay, I'm going to put this one aside for just a while. And I'm going to go over to another piece I started today. This is just another abstract pattern I used. And today I'm going to change a bit. I'm going to bring in a portrait. And I'm going to draw this portrait out, but I'm going to revise it. So I'm not going to beat myself up too much about proportion or exactly how the portrait looks, because at the end of the day, I'm going to go back over it. So I'm just trying to get the facial features down first, and we'll go from there when it gets ready for the water. This portrait is very, very loosely based on a photograph I had. But after I get this down, I'm not going to really look at the reference too much. It doesn't really exactly look like the person. I'm just using it for the facial features and the way the eyes were looking away. If I start with a drawing reference, I like to sketch with it and then put it away and not use it anymore. And at this point in the drawing, I'm not looking at the photo anymore. I'm just trying to intuitively bring in the hair and other parts of the top neckline and different things like that. So I'm not really too concerned about the likeness of the photograph. I'm just trying to get an impression, and I'm also going to revise this, like I said, as I get finished with the drawing. I think portraits should go beyond a mere depiction of the person you're making, and hopefully they can capture the essence of someone, and in turn that maybe allows a viewer to connect with them on a deeper level. There's lots of controversy in media today concerning AI art. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it and have wondered about it. There's definitely a lot of ethical questions pertaining to AI art and what it means to the profession in general. But I think that as we move away or involved with that, I think things that are handmade, things that are tactile, are still going to be there. Even though, unfortunately, AI probably will take the jobs away from many graphic designers and visual communicators. That said, I think the line that is made by humans is still going to be here with us, kind of like a vintage sort of thing. It will carry on, just like LP records came back after CDs. People are still going to insist one is better than the other. Today I'm working a bit with more of a complementary color scheme. I know I've talked about color in a lot of my videos, but here you can see the light greens and blues that are contrasted with the browns that I put down before I started the figure. But I think color's perceived sacredness kind of stems from its association with spiritual concepts, and that can go from various cultures and religions. And colors are often used to kind of symbolize certain qualities I think we all can see, and I feel like color kind of brings out emotion and states of being that are really important to people. It takes you to a memory, a place and time. And here we have the brush coming into play. This is once again a water-soluble pastel, and I'm going to bring the water in and kind of let it bleed and kind of smudge and blur the edges. Right now, for me personally, this drawing's a little too distinct. That's not what I'm trying to get at. I'm going to revise this. So revision is a big part of making art, at least to most art, and definitely to me on this. I am constantly revising my work as I work on it, and you've probably seen that in previous videos. I find the lines and marks that are left behind or kind of faded or smudged can be as interesting, if not more interesting, than the actual strength of another line. So those remnants are still very important to me in my work. Okay, now I'm going to go into the dramatic part of my revision. And you might say, wait, you just drew that out. Why are you smudging it? Well, that was my intent to start with. I knew I was going to go to this place because I want the image to be blurred and where you just see kind of faint images of it. And I'm going to take a paper towel here, kind of blend into it and take some of that harshness away, but I still want to continue smudging the line. So I'm still going around this, and you can see it's almost like a layering effect, but instead of adding to it, I'm reducing it, and I'm taking things away, making it more soft, and I'm even going to go into the hair and get at that as well. Okay, I'm just continuing to kind of blend out. And I'm going to take a break from this, go back to the image we started with, and I think I've decided on what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in some more repetitive line, and I love drawing trees. You've seen this in previous videos, and I'm just going to be doing branches and trunks on this one. And this is just an intuitive drawing, kind of just making this up as I go. And I'm going to add several layers of this. Trees are absolutely one of my favorite things to draw. I like all different kinds of trees. And I think kind of the universal symbol of a tree represents the source of life. And that's kind of like the connection between all living things and even the cycle of life. I think a lot of artists examine that from death to rebirth. And I've definitely always read some things like that where I'd like to incorporate that into the work I'm doing. And I find that that kind of works well for me drawing on abstract surfaces. Okay, like the portrait we're working on here, I'm also going to bring the brush back in on the water-soluble pastel and kind of blend that out. And I'll jump a little ahead here at certain points. But I still want to continue adding more trees onto the surface. I want to kind of pack this as a densely populated treescape. Right now it's May as I'm making this image, so there's all kinds of little helicopters or whirligigs all over my front yard from the maple trees, and I have several maples around me, and so you know they're really beautiful to watch throughout the year as they go from summer to fall and then back to spring again. Okay, I'm going to get in here between the trees and bring in some more line, which I will later blend out with water. Okay, as that dries, I'm going to flip the portrait back into view, and it is dry now from the last time I worked on it. And I'm going to take some more water-soluble pastel. I'm going to go back into this, and I'm going to darken it again. And even though I've mopped it out, I still want to texture that surface even more. You notice sometimes I hesitate as far as what color to pick up, so bear with me. I'm making decisions here on the fly, but that's really how I do it when I'm not filming. Okay, we're going to get a little closer here. You can see I've really faded this out. I've gone back in with the brush and mopped it out, brought some more color in, mopped it out again. So there's several layers of line and mark making I've done, which I've added and reduced in this revised technique. Okay, I think we'll leave this here, and I'm going to go back to the trees because they are just about dry. And we're going to go back in with this. I'm going to do the same thing to the trees, except for I'm going to bring just a little bit of ink into it. I'm going to darken some of the edges just to bring it some variety. Also working on the contrast. I want some of the branches and limbs to push forward and pull back. And I found that to be possible when I do this kind of technique. And I'm going to pull away and show you these two images. I'm not done, but I'm getting there. So if you've liked this video today, please hit the like button. And please subscribe, leave some comments for me. I'll switch from the tree now over back to the portrait. And that's where we stand now. So is it done? I'm not sure. But I will probably let you take a look at the finished piece in a subsequent video. All right, thanks everybody for watching today, and I'll see you next time.